Nonetheless, she has risen. That's right. She is back. Of course, I'm not being blasphemous. I am trying to have some humor here, for crying out loud. And this is not all cheery. It's not. We'll get to the bad news in a minute. We knew it was coming. Good news, bad news video, unfortunately. You will see this headline, and we all rejoice. Caitlin Clark set to return from quad strain versus the Liberty. Now, this is Friday, folks. Okay?
Major developments have emerged from the Indiana Fever organization regarding their player lineup. The team announced the anticipated comeback of star guard Caitlin Clark, who has been sidelined with a quad strain injury. Clark is scheduled to make her return to action against the New York Liberty in tomorrow's matchup at 2 p.m. Central Time. Alongside Clark's return, Sophie Cunningham is also set to rejoin the active roster after her recent absence. Both players have been progressing well through their rehabilitation and practice sessions this week.
Now, in case I'm going nuts, let me just go over here and let's see. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock, that's my time, Central Time. Tomorrow, Central Time, we will have Caitlin Clark's return. Not only her, but Sophie Cunningham looks like she's coming back as well. My goodness gracious, my cup runneth over at this point. All right.
During recent media availability, coaching staff provided updates on both players' conditions. Regarding Clark's status, the team noted her improvement day by day, with better movement, balance, and overall rhythm returning to her game. Medical staff reported no concerning swelling or setbacks that would prevent her participation. The training team emphasized that as long as no regression occurs, Clark will be cleared for full competition. Cunningham's recovery has similarly progressed positively. Her timing during practice sessions has looked sharp, and she successfully transitioned back into live game speed drills. The ability to change directions effectively, a crucial skill for her position, has returned to acceptable levels throughout her workouts this week.
Yeah, let's listen to Steph White.
I'm going to make the half-court shot. I don't know when, but one of these days.
Yeah, Caitlin obviously won it in a rare instance, I heard today. Just how's practice been like for her, and kind of what's her status for tomorrow?
It's been good. I think she's working her way back, and I felt like today was better than yesterday in terms of just movement and balance and feeling like she's getting back into rhythm, timing, all of those things. And as long as we don't have any progression, she's going to be ready to roll.
However, roster moves have created mixed reactions among supporters. To comply with WNBA regulations requiring a minimum 10-player roster and emergency hardship exception standards, the Indiana Fever released guard Ari McDonald. This decision has generated significant discussion within the fan base and basketball community. McDonald's brief tenure with the Fever showcased impressive performance metrics. She demonstrated strong defensive capabilities, connected on multiple three-point attempts, and provided notable energy levels that had been lacking from the squad. Her hustle and court presence filled gaps that some veteran players haven't been addressing consistently.
Hey, what kind of regression do you look like, just with swelling or something?
Yeah, for me, it's just listen to the training staff. I mean, if there's swelling, if there's any sort of carryover in terms of the injury, but there hasn't been, and so I don't anticipate there being. So she's good.
And with Sophie as well, how is she progressing in terms of playing for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think she's going to be ready to roll as well. Sophie looked really good. Her timing was good. Getting back into game rhythm and timing is the most important thing, and being able to change directions. I thought she looked good. She's had really good workouts throughout the course of the week, and then it's just been reintegrating into live action. So they both look good.
All right. So you heard it right here, and probably before right here, because I was freaking late on getting it out. They're both coming back.
The roster decision has sparked debate about team building philosophy. Some observers argue that other players, specifically Bree Turner or Sydney Coulson, would have been more logical candidates for release given McDonald's recent contributions. The preference among certain analysts would favor retaining McDonald over these alternatives due to her defensive intensity and shooting ability. Age-related concerns have been raised regarding some roster members who appear to lack the mobility and pace required for modern WNBA competition. Several players have exhibited slower court movement that impacts overall team dynamics and effectiveness during crucial game situations.
They both have returneth to bless us with their presence. Now, God, I wish I had something better. Let me first of all, this is what the Indiana Fever put out. As you can imagine, a lot of people are fired up. Yeah, right there. Yeah, we're ready to go. Thank you. The demon's home. Yeah. Thank God. Yeah, a lot of rejoicing here in this post. The baby goat is back. Let's effing go. Poor Ari. You know what? Now's the time. That's a good transition, unfortunately. I do have some practice stuff from Caitlin Clark, too. This was my post at Rhodes Rants. Go follow me on there. Oh no, God bless you. Hope we see you again soon.
League salary cap regulations have come under scrutiny following this roster situation. Current WNBA rules create limitations on team flexibility when making player personnel changes. The existing system requires waiting periods and restrictive procedures that prevent immediate roster adjustments, unlike other professional sports leagues that allow more fluid player movement within salary constraints. Fan reaction to McDonald's release has been overwhelmingly negative across social media platforms. Supporters expressed disappointment with the decision and hope for her quick re-signing or pickup by another organization. Multiple franchises, including the Chicago Sky, have been mentioned as potential landing spots that could benefit from McDonald's skill set and energy.
Indiana Fever. To meet the 10-player roster minimum and WNBA emergency hardship exception requirements, we have waived guard Ari McDonald. Thank you, Ari. And we all know she absolutely, positively balled out. All right. We're getting Caitlin Clark back. We're getting Sophie Cunningham back. But as it stands right now, this team is not as strong as it could have potentially been. I'm going to be frank. If I had my choice between Bree Turner or Sydney Colson and or both, I'm taking Ari McDonald, and those two are free to go seek employment with a different team. And I'm going to feel like we're stronger for having done it.
The timing coincides with Clark's practice footage showing her attempting shots from extended range, including what appeared to be attempts from near half-court distance. These clips have circulated widely, generating excitement about her return to competitive play. Team management faces ongoing challenges balancing roster construction with salary cap compliance and player development considerations. The decision to release McDonald while retaining other players reflects organizational priorities that may prioritize veteran presence over immediate performance impact.
Back into the game. We had that run when Stewie was guarding Caitlin Clark, but then they executed well. And, we had so many breakdowns on defense and they made shots. They really punished us on that end, making, 17 threes from 35. It was just too wide open. So a little lack of communication. We had to obviously work these two, probably overworked them tonight. But, a lot of things that we can learn. And we, like I said before the game, we're nowhere near where we need to be.
Seems like Sabrina,
League observers suggest that WNBA front offices should consider rule modifications that provide greater roster flexibility. Current regulations limit teams' ability to make rapid adjustments based on player performance and team needs, potentially hindering competitive balance and fan engagement. The upcoming game against Liberty will serve as an important test for the returning players' integration back into game action. Both Clark and Cunningham will need to demonstrate their readiness for full competition after extended absences due to their respective injuries.
I mean, it's not defeating. Basketball's a game of runs, in the same way like we go on runs, they do as well. They're a great team. So I don't think it's defeating. I think obviously we know what a great shooter she is, and I think we just gave her too many easy ones. Obviously, she has great range, and her ability to get her shot off is really impressive, especially with missing some games. And so obviously on a personal level, I'm really happy to see her back out on the court, healthy, feeling good, because obviously it's important for them, but just for her, I'm happy she's back.
and Breanna's message to the team after tonight's game on what you thought they needed to hear, I guess.
I mean, my message to the team was to keep your heads up. I mean, we are now 10 games into the season and we have a long ways to go.
McDonald's departure represents a broader conversation about talent evaluation and roster management philosophy within professional women's basketball. Her contributions during limited opportunities suggested untapped potential that other organizations may seek to develop. The contrast between celebrating returning stars while simultaneously releasing productive players highlights the complex nature of professional sports roster management. Teams must balance multiple factors including salary constraints, veteran leadership, future planning, and immediate competitive needs.
But, there was a few games early on where we kind of squeaked out wins. We got away with some things and we ended up with the win. And a loss is an opportunity for everyone to kind of look at themselves in the mirror and really focus and lock in on the things that we need to get better. And this is a long season. So to think that anybody's going to go undefeated throughout the entire thing is like impossible.
We'll turn it over to Zoom, starting with Andrew.
As the Fever prepare for their next contest, the focus shifts to how successfully Clark and Cunningham reintegrate into team systems and whether their return can offset the loss of McDonald's contributions. The broader implications for league roster flexibility and talent retention remain ongoing concerns for WNBA stakeholders. Statistics reveal the truth, and the data clearly demonstrates that Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever have established themselves as a formidable opponent against the New York Liberty. Despite the Liberty holding the top position in the WNBA standings, they have now suffered 2 defeats at the hands of Indiana. Had officiating not influenced the outcome of their previous encounter, the Fever would maintain a perfect 2-0 record against New York.
Thank you, Ryan. Coach, just want to ask you what you thought about your team shot selection and just those threes that Sydney Colson hit. I mean, normally she doesn't hit those threes well. You just talk about those 2 elements there.
Yeah, look, obviously, we had to rely on these 2 players here, and we didn't get to the rim. Early in the game we did. I think we had about 32 points in the paint in the first half, and we didn't get as many open ones as we did in the second half, and that's on the coaching staff. We've got to make it a little bit easier for them in that regard. But
the recent matchup showcased what many consider Clark's finest WNBA performance to date, delivering an exceptional display that could be classified as MVP caliber basketball. Following this significant loss, both Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu addressed the media alongside their head coach, appearing visibly deflated by the outcome. During the press conference, the team discussed their defensive struggles and execution issues. One player explained their defensive lapses. We managed to close the gap when our defender was covering Caitlin Clark, but their execution remained strong, and our defensive communication broke down repeatedly. They capitalized on our mistakes, connecting on 17 three-pointers from 35 attempts. The shots were far too uncontested, indicating poor communication. We likely overextended our key players tonight, but there are valuable lessons to extract. As stated before the game, we're far from our optimal performance level. When questioned about facing elite shooters who found their rhythm early, particularly after Clark's recent absence due to injury,
they're switching. They were very disruptive. They were very physical, and we've got to be a better job at executing that. What was the other question?
Sydney
It's
Colson.
about Colson.
Oh, Sydney Colson. Look, we had some many breakdowns on defense. We had some great moments, and then we had some really poor moments. We just overhelped off the corners for no reason there. We didn't have the second efforts to close out. And, obviously all players, they're pros for a reason. Everyone can make a shot. And, obviously Sophie made a few, and
the response highlighted both respect and frustration. Basketball involves momentum swings, and just as we experience scoring runs, opposing teams do as well. They represent a quality organization. The outcome isn't demoralizing. We recognize her exceptional shooting ability, but we provided too many easy opportunities. Her range and quick release are remarkable, especially considering her recent time away from competition. On a personal note, seeing her return to full health brings satisfaction because it benefits their team and her individual growth. The coaching staff's message emphasized resilience and perspective. The instruction to the team focused on maintaining confidence. We're only 10 games into the season with significant time remaining. Earlier games saw narrow victories where certain issues were overlooked, but defeats provide opportunities for self-evaluation and improved focus on necessary improvement. The season's length makes perfection impossible for any team. Regarding shot selection and unexpected three-point success from typically inconsistent shooters, the coaching analysis revealed reliance on our primary players was necessary, and penetration to the rim decreased. The first half produced 32 paint points, but second half opportunities diminished. The coaching staff must create easier scoring chances. The opposition's switching defense proved disruptive and physical, requiring better execution from our side. Defensive breakdowns were acknowledged. Early defensive lapses occurred alongside positive moments and significant errors. Overhelping from corner positions without justification led to inadequate closeout effort. Professional players can capitalize on opportunities, and when shots fall consistently, they become momentum-changing plays. Improvement remains possible, and with 10 games completed, reflection and review opportunities exist for better future execution.
Colson made a few, and Hull, and they're the daggers. So we we can be better, and it's like we said, it's 10 games in. It's opportunity for us to reflect, to review, and then make sure we have better execution next game.
We'll go to Jackie.
Hi all. I've got one for each player, if that's all right. Sabrina, when you all are spending the majority of a game down,
When trailing for extended periods, offensive flow can become rushed, leading to decreased ball movement and hasty shot attempts. However, the issue isn't solely related to deficit situations. The problem arises when defensive stops aren't achieved and transition opportunities disappear. Without fast break chances and natural flow, offensive breakdowns occur. Tonight provided learning experiences about maintaining cohesion during difficult stretches and finding easier scoring opportunities for teammates. Performance in this area was inadequate, but numerous games remain for improvement. Leadership perspectives on individual and collective improvements were candid. Individually, better decision-making against switching defenses is necessary. Constant defensive pressure created challenges in finding driving lanes or passing opportunities. Collectively, defensive pride must increase. Allowing 53 first-half points and finishing with 102 points allowed indicates insufficient defensive attention. The significant drop in paint scoring from 32 first-half points to just 12 after halftime reflected Indiana's tactical adjustments. The opposition's switching strategy became more effective in plugging gaps and preventing interior penetration. Free throw opportunities remained available, but overall shooting performance suffered, particularly from three-point range at 20%. Improved perimeter shooting typically opens interior scoring lanes, making this a crucial area for development. Despite current standings implications, focus remains on long-term development. The situation is unchangeable. Preference would be different positioning, and significant assistance will be required. But ultimate success depends on peak performance at season's end. Continued improvement focus remains essential. Team resilience emerged as a positive characteristic. Previous seasons sometimes saw complete breakdowns during adversity, but confidence in current capabilities and talent level remains high. The response in Monday's preparation will be telling factors. For a team built on defensive principles, allowing 102 points raised serious concerns. Missing key players significantly impacted defensive capabilities, but experience should benefit all participants, including coaching staff. Questions about physicality, second efforts, and consistent execution over extended periods against quality opponents require addressing. The bench performance, particularly players stepping into expanded roles, showed mixed results. While effort and work ethic were evident, shot-making decreased from previous performances. Greater involvement and activation in offensive schemes could benefit these players' development and team success. This comprehensive analysis reveals both immediate concerns and long-term optimism for the Liberty's championship aspirations.